You guys are out here week 8 when you're 1-6 and you're working for a Friday night game and just to get one more chance to play together as a team. And that really means a lot to me. I hope it means a lot to you. And I tell you, I'm very proud of you guys. I really am. Because a lesser man would have gave up. And I'm telling you, I know a lot of programs around Nassau County in the same situation that you're in statistically that have given up. You guys have not. And that shows me what kind of men you are. And I have to say, I'm really proud of you. I really am.
What I took most from being in the 4-2 season in the spring was hard work does pay off, and the off season pays off too. If you put a lot of work in the off season, it will show up in the season.
The dedication that those guys had, the drive that they had throughout the whole season, you just see that there was something special.
So the season ended mid-April. That only left us with a few months to get back and to start. There was a lot of urgency because there was no time to rest and take a month off or a week off.
We just gotta put our heads down and just get straight to work because we're just an underdog program. That's just what it's been for the past few years. Only last year we made a name for ourselves, and we just want to carry on that as much as possible.
Cleandre, he played his sophomore year and didn't play his junior year due to an injury.
On November 11th, I had torn my ACL. I really wish I just put a good brace over it and just played, because seeing how good the team was going, it was kind of sad to just see me on the sidelines. And those 2 games that we lost, we could have probably won if I was on the field.
He didn't let that break him down.
From the sophomore season, that's mainly the reason why I just said to myself, I can't end off on that wrong foot, because that season in my head was terrible. It was terrible. As much as people try to cheer me up and stuff like that, it was a terrible season for me. I had about 10 interceptions.
He worked every single day to get to where he is now, to play his very first senior game.
I just had to come back stronger. I wasn't done with playing football. There was nothing that told me, you know what, let me just put down this sport. I can't play anymore after this injury.
Last year, we didn't have a real quarterback. Yasir was a running back. So Cleandre was like bringing the offense back together, the passing and running.
We were a young team.
A lot of juniors came up. They didn't have the varsity experience. JV is very different from varsity, so we had to adjust them to the speed and the strength of it.
Some people would think that a young team is a bad thing. Having a young team at the same time is a good thing because you have people that are willing to listen. The downsides of that was basically that we lost a lot of seniors. That was the unfortunate part of it. We lost a lot of seniors, a lot of experienced guys. We don't have those leaders, and we had to expect those young guys to step up.
For the conference to put us 11th out of 14, it didn't really make sense because the teams that were ranked above us, we beat them. It should have fueled us up.
The first few weeks of training camp, we were working real hard, really hard.
Drive it!
Everybody was dripping in sweat. Everybody was breathing hard every single rep.
No matter how tired we were, we would always go 100%.
I feel like I give off the vibe of a hard worker, so everybody will follow in my shoes and do the same. Nobody's gonna be half-assing anything or anything like that, just gonna keep working hard. Because they see me doing it, they're gonna keep doing it. That was the first full contact type of game that I had. So to be completely honest with you, my heart was beating real hard. That first game scrimmage, and I wasn't really prepared, as in like mentally, to play that game. But like as soon as I got my first 2 snaps and I felt good, I just didn't worry about it after that.
We did good our first offensive and defensive drive, and then after that, it just all started crumbling down.
We had to just refocus.
It definitely was a wake-up call because it showed the team that this was not going to be an easy season and it was not going to be handed to us on a platter.
We had a lot of work to do, but we didn't want that game to get in our way of our actual season.
The spring, it was a big surprise because Lynbrook had a terrible season. They were 0-6.
Knowing that this was the opportunity to show other schools what we could do, go to their home field.
So we weren't expecting too much immaculate play from them. We all perceived them to be terrible. But seeing them in the scrimmage and stuff like that, the few guys that did go to the scrimmage, they saw that that wasn't true. We just came into that game with the wrong mindset. Our team was not ready for that game. We came into the game lackadaisical. Lynbrook just punched us in the mouth. That's basically what it was. They came in stronger than we were. They put in more work in that game.
As Gus said, we needed to be more physical as a team.
We needed to hit harder, wrap up.
Being physically outplayed just shows you that it's a little bit of a mentality thing, because half of the time if you go into a game just believing that you're better than the other person, it's not going to be the best thing for you because you're not going to play to your fullest ability. So being manhandled like we were, it just shows that we didn't put our best foot forward for that game, which needed to change the next game. Playing Kennedy on the homecoming was just electric.
All week of practice, Gus would always say before a homecoming game that they invited us to their homecoming. They think they can beat us.
We take it as disrespect. Kennedy was known to be one of the worst teams in Nassau County, so we all had that type of mindset that they weren't that good. But me, I was trying to remind my teammates, we said the same thing about Lynbrook, and you see what they did to us. So I just said to all of them, we just got to put our best foot forward. We can't go in there saying that they're bad.
Go, baby, run it! That's better. That's how you sit. That's good.
Seeing how physical you can be to knock that kid down that has the yellow pads, and just running full speed at that guy and just trying to knock him down just brings excitement. And if you do knock him down, everybody's jumping up for joy. Everybody's happy at that point. So it's just a very competitive drill.
I knew that if we kept that energy up, we would be able to beat Kennedy.
said, you know what, I can't risk holding this ball and getting a sack, so I just threw it up for Prince. I saw him, he made the catch.
Gus, he came in the huddle and he told Owen that this is regular, it's just like in practice. You do all the time.
I had so much confidence in Owen and kicking that because he's been working so hard.
Every single practice is out, but Coach Stanley put in the work, kicking field goals, kicking punts. That was probably the best football game I ever played because it was just competitive, high spirits throughout the game.
I was very proud of the team that we fought all 4 quarters. We didn't give up.
To build off the win like that, we can't get too high spirited. Going high spirited into the next game, you're just gonna break yourself down after that because you're just gonna think that you're the stuff. You're not the stuff. You just gotta calm down, relax, rebuild the next week, and get ready for the next team.
It was so frustrating because we would always come into those games with such high energy.
Certain things were working at certain points and it just ended up falling off.
The Roosevelt game, the defense did play very good. Knowing that they're a run-heavy team, like to run up the middle.
It was clearly obvious with the 7 points for the half.
We was playing with them. We was at war with them the first 3.5 quarters, and then last half of the 4th quarter, and they kept scoring. Very frustrating.
Homecoming was the last game that you're ever going to be playing in front of all those people of your hometown. Everybody comes from your hometown. I even had a few youth coaches come and see me that game.
To know that it's the final game on South's turf, it meant a lot. I've been playing for South since I was in 7th grade. I never missed a game.
Regardless how our season was going, we had support in what we were doing.
It was heartwarming to see kids in the stands, families in the stands, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, anything. Having my teammates cheer from the bleachers has meant a lot because it shows me how much they care for me, how much they appreciated the work that I put in to get to the point that I am right now.
We're all here for each other.
It shows that everybody was still together, everybody still loved each other, everybody was still themselves. Nobody changed up on anybody or anything like that because of what the season was. Everybody was still real. Knowing it was the final week of the season was very tough, especially coming off my ACL. I did a lot of this work just to end this short, and it was definitely sad. But I just had to put my best foot forward that last game. Our last day of practice, Gus spoke. Basically, was just telling us that he was very proud of us and what we did throughout the season, especially from the clinics in July down to the sprints, running down the sprints in August to the last game, the last practice.
We had a really unfortunate record. People could have just gave up, but it seemed like people were playing their hardest.
It meant that he cared more about us than just football. He cared that we just put our best foot forward. And Gus always talks about creating the best young man out of him, not just the football aspect. We finished the game off, last whistle blew, ref put up the ball, and basically I just looked at the scoreboard and tears just started streaming down my face. It wasn't something I even could have controlled at that point. It just came out. I couldn't control it.
It was really sad knowing that this was my last football game of my entire career. I remember playing my very first South game back in 7th grade, and it all just went by like that. It went by very fast.
I embraced a few teammates. I just kept saying to them, it's all right, bro. We're all in this together. We put in a lot of work to get to this point, so I'm just proud of them. I was proud of all of them.
People who don't really know too much about South High School, they wouldn't see us as like good friends because of how the season ended. But to me, it seems like we were all really good friends. We were all basically family.
Workouts where everybody was dying from exhaustion, but we still, at the end of the practices, went out to go eat together. We had a group chat that we always checked up on each other and stuff like that. It shows that we cared more about each other than football. We just loved each other. That's basically what it was. As Gus will always say, once a Falcon, you're always a Falcon. And we still carry that on to this day.